Before we begin, in 2019, YouTube was caught data mining children under the age of 13, violating the Child's Online Privacy Protection Act, or COPPA. Since settling, YouTube has enacted new policies meant to dodge responsibility and scapegoat creators. This video is not made for kids. It is not targeted at kids. It is not advertising to kids. Parental discretion is advised. Hey guys, how's everyone doing? This is the Sentinel watching over Geekdom, and welcome back to Sentinel Reviews. Our look at Sarah Jane Smith, Series 2 continues with Snowblind, released in February of 2006, written by David Bishop, directed by John Ainsworth. Snowblind stars Elizabeth Sladen as Sarah Jane Smith, and features Tom Chadbon and Nicholas Briggs. As always, I will be talking spoilers in this video, so in the description box below, you'll find the link to Big Finish's website, where you can buy Snowblind for download, $2.99 USD, or you can buy it as part of Sarah Jane Smith, the Complete Series digital bundle, $24.99 USD. And this is your only spoiler warning. And the biggest problem with Snowblind, jumping right into the review, is it's kind of underwhelming. Like, it's not bad, it's not average in the way Ghost Town from Series 1 was, but it's very underwhelming. You know, you can tell what it's going for, and it doesn't quite... The payoff isn't as good as the setup tries to make it, and for that matter, the setup isn't as good as it tries to be. So after the events of Buried Secrets, which I'm not going to get into, because... But when we get to the end, I will do the big spoilers. But for right now, because these are mystery stories still, I'm going to try and hold off on the spoilers. But after the end of Buried Secrets, Sarah wants to take a break. She wants to get away for a little bit. So, because Will is a doctor there, Sarah decides to go to Antarctica and check the results of the research expedition she is funding. And, you know, right from there, you can tell what this story is going for. It's meant to be an Antarctic thriller, like Whiteout or The Thing. Was The Thing Antarctica, or was it the Arctic? Not important. Anyway, and that's kind of the biggest problem with that story, because, you know, these kinds of thrillers, Antarctic thrillers, rely very heavily on tension and paranoia. And you can tell this story is trying to set it up, but it just never gets where it needs to be in setting that mood and getting that tone. But yeah, so anyway, Sarah and Josh fly out to the Antarctic to meet Will. It's sort of an off-season for the expedition, is the best way to explain it. So most of the crew has gone home for the summer, leaving 3 people there. Will Sullivan, the head, again, Harry's brother, the head of this expedition, Dr. Gideon Monroe, and Morgan, a French scientist who's in charge of drilling for ice cores. And there is also Jack, the pilot, taking Sarah and Josh there. And again, Antarctic thriller, you know how this is going. A snow's coming in that's going to leave them trapped. And just like I said, and that's another point against this story, because as far as setting the mood goes, because you never really get that feeling of isolation, that feeling of loneliness that would help this story, that would create that tension and create that paranoia that needs to be there. That being said, though, Nicholas Briggs is the highlight of this story. He plays Dr. Gideon Monroe, the head of the expedition, and he starts to think everyone is against him. Everyone is plotting against him. Everyone is out to get him. And he is really where it shines, which is unfortunate because the story is so underwhelming. It's so lackluster in creating that mood. There are other great moments, too, like Will and Josh continue not to get along, and which was something that was started as soon as Will and Josh met in Buried Secrets. The other 2 characters, Jack, the pilot, and Morgan, the other scientist, are both fine. They don't really get a lot to do. And there's also a fun reference, again, another fun Doctor Who reference, as Sarah mentions that she'd been to Antarctica before, and it wasn't a pleasant experience. And when Monroe and Will and Morgan start talking about having found something under the ice, Sarah worries that it's a seed pod, which she's quickly proven incorrect, but that is a reference to the seeds of death? Look, there's two Doctor Who stories, a Patrick Troughton story and a Tom Baker story. Seeds of Death and the Seeds of Doom. And I constantly mix them up. Whichever one was the fourth Doctor story, that was the one that was being referenced. I think I'll cut the review... No, what else do I want to say? Unfortunately, and then some really dark stuff happens with Sarah, which one of the things I do have to applaud for Antarctic thrillers like this is the explaining of procedures. Most people have never been to Antarctica, and most people probably likely never will. So for an expedition to Antarctica, for visiting Antarctica, there's a lot of procedures to it. There's a lot of procedures to ensure your survival and your safety. And this story does well at explaining some of them, not all of them, which again, had the tension been there, which is this story's biggest problem the more I talk about it, it really would have helped adding to it that, someone is sabotaging the safety protocols and so on. I won't go into much further detail about it because, again, this is a mystery, and if you know what's going on, it's not as fun. But I will say there is a really good cliffhanger, despite wanting to get away from everything, the Crimson chapter of the Orbis Pastremo, see my Buried Secrets review where I explained all that information, does rear its head, making Sarah realize that she needs to go on the offensive. And the story itself ends on a really fantastic cliffhanger. Snowblind is okay. It's good for the greater plot overall, but it's not really engaging, and it really holds back from being truly great. I'm going to give Snowblind a 6 out of 10. And join me next week when Sarah will confront the Crimson chapter head on. She'll learn what makes her the Herald, truths will be revealed, and betrayals will happen with fatal consequences. But those were just my thoughts on Snowblind. What were yours? Start a conversation in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe. Click the bell next to subscribe to get notifications when I upload. Share the video around. It all helps my channel grow. In the description box below, you'll find the link to my Ko-fi where you can support the channel, or you'll find the link to my Twitter where you can follow me and get updates on the channel. This is the Sentinel watching over Geekdom, and I'll see you guys next time.